Okay, another 7.3 up pipe video. Got the spider out. You can see my up pipes are leaking right down in there. Pretty bad. Get a lot of exhaust in the cab, which sucks. Went skiing, couldn't use the defroster, so we're gonna fix that. It's throwing a glow plug code on number 7, so I don't know if that's the glow plug or the harness. There's driver side harness, passenger side. I'm gonna try and replace passenger side fuel line, passenger side fuel line, maybe driver side fuel line. And while I have the turbo out, I'm gonna do the EB valve delete and change the output flange to a high flow one. Truck stock, California truck, stock turbo, stock injectors, 238,000 miles. No issues, really, other than leaking up pipe, glow plug throwing a code. I have this severe duty Ford filter, that was an upgrade. I did the WYSIWYG. I don't know what the WYSIWYG is. It's just cut open this so that the air goes straight in to your airbox. I replaced the alternator over the years. That's new. Air conditioner, compressor is new, although not Motorcraft, because it went bad in Yellowstone, so I took what I got. And a new radiator. The radiator's a Koyo rod or something. It's cheaper than the Motorcraft, but it's been great. And I do have the Mishimoto transcooler, which has been fantastic because I tow this fifth wheel. 10,000 pound fifth wheel. It's a little light, but it's good for this truck. That Mishimoto has been one of the best things. Alright, so then there's a spider. Pretty clean inside. I was impressed with that. What's up? Sure enough. 1 is good. 3 is good. 5 is good. 7 is bad. And over here, 2, 4, 6, 8, all good. Oh, sheesh. Maybe it's a loose wire, we'll look. Okay. Some progress. Spider is out. I took the wiring harness completely out. Turbo is loose. Up pipes are loose at the top. Back clamp is off. Both sides of the up pipes are disconnected at the bottom, so up pipes and turbo are ready to come off. I also removed the down pipe so I could reach behind there and get that clamp. Taking the down pipe off wasn't that bad. And then I actually screwed this 2x6 or 2x8 into that 4x4, which is screwed in to the engine mount hoop, so I could lay across here and reach behind there. It's gonna be crazy difficult, but like everybody else, that back clamp, nightmare. See my valley, I'm gonna try and clean that out. I got Riffraff inserts for the Plenums, and I just bought 2 of those boots for the Plenums. I'm gonna reuse my intercooler boots. I'm gonna try and replace that fuel line. Gonna try and replace This side fuel line, which is down here somewhere. Get a better picture later. Fuel line. I might do the Banjo bolts. I'm going to use the stock Ford Banjo bolts with that down pipe removed. The back one's easy to get to. So I figure I'll just do that. Still have to chase down a glow plug number 7, which is in the back. Just throw in a code. But I got the harness out. So I'll be able to ohm those out pretty easy right there. And then if it's bad there, then I guess we got to pull the cover and do that harness. Probably end up doing both harnesses anyway. Yeah, that's where we're at. It's a party. Here's the up pipes. It's driver's side. It's loose. I was able on this side to get a pry bar way up there to get that back clamp popped off that rear Y collector. Here's the other one. See here, the down pipe is gone, and there is the back Banjo bolt. Can't see it, but the fuel line is up there. So both those should be pretty easy with all this junk out, so I guess I'll go ahead and do those. There's that collector up there. The enemy. That's the enemy right there. We hate you. Gonna get rid of that EBPV tongue twister valve. That's right. Maybe. Okay, got the turbo out. There's the pedestal. There's the famous up pipe Y collector. I think it's just gonna pop out. Lower by the exhaust manifold is loose. See if these just pull. So yeah, pulled right out. These are already loose, but look at this. This comes right out. I didn't loosen these bolts at all. This one's. So these bolts are still tight. And the donuts, my donuts are still in there. But they're squashed in there, I guess. Okay, this past weekend, pulled out the pedestal and the fuel bowl. There's the HPOP. I cleaned the valley really good. Gonna clean it some more. Gonna replace the fuel lines. You can see there's the other one. My glow plug is bad. Number 7 in the back, so I have all 4 glow plugs coming from Riffraff. Getting another 4 for the right side. Valve cover's off. That's why I got a bag over it right now. I ohmed out the glow plug itself, and it's bad. I decided I'm going to replace all these fittings. Replace that one. This one over here. And these 2 right there. So I am going to pull my HPOP, replace the O-rings and that thing. Apparently that non-serviceable plug right there, I got the replacement from diesel O-rings, but you can't do that with this in place. You need to take it out and stand it up vertically. But yeah, I'm gonna paint the valley. Coming along. Okay. Got the HPOP out. Pretty straightforward. 2 10mm bolts in the back. I got them sitting right there. The bolt I was able to get out. 18mm short, 3/8 drive. the exhaust pressure tube that goes to the sensor. Slightly challenging, but I used a homemade crow's foot to get that out. Not too bad. Now I got this whole bracket loose, 4 bolts hanging 2x4, so I can get to the Banjo bolt, which I cleaned off. I'm gonna replace it with the Riffraff one, just because I don't think I'll get extra fuel flow for now, and then I'm gonna do that fuel line right now. Driver's side. Okay, here we are under the truck, passenger side. A little bit of a fun job. So I am right now in the middle of cleaning the back of the cylinder head. I already got the Riffraff Banjo bolt installed. I'm cleaning this because when I'm all done, I want a fresh palette for any future leaks. I believe all this oil's from the exhaust back pressure valve solenoid gizmo on the original pedestal. And maybe one of the oil, high pressure oil rails on the cylinder head. There's a bunch of plugs up there, and I think one of the fittings was seeping a little bit, and it runs down the plenum. Runs down the plenum and comes right back here. So I'm going to clean all this up. So you can see what I'm doing down here. Here's my weapons. You can see all the stuff that already came out of this brush. I am just dipping it in super concentrated simple green. By the way, you could see my ramp system. That's how I get this thing up. What is that? 3.5 plus 6.5 inches, I think, right there. Lets me get under here. Okie dokie. Okay. There's the battle. Man, it was ugly. Real ugly. Here's the other side. You can see it. So I ended up pulling the wiring harness. I wanted to get it out of the truck to inspect the wires, the insulation, the connectors, and to rewrap it and to get rid of all this cracking, protective sleeving. This stuff was just falling apart in my hand, so I pulled the harness. There it is on the bench. Had to replace the alternator connector. It was cracked. That was the only connector that was bad. Everything else looked good. I did, like I said, all this stuff fell apart. I removed all this original Ford fabric tape and did a full rewrap on that. I'll show it here in a future clip. Here's the diagram for the glow plug wires. Number 7 ended up being bad, measured a kilo-ohm. So I ended up replacing all the glow plugs. Here's the valley. Some folks a long time ago used a ton of silicone on the plenums. I ended up buying the Riffraff Plenums. I'll show those here in a future clip. Here's the valley with the pedestal and the turbo out. I made this plywood cover for that oil valley for the turbo because I ended up wire brushing the valley and painting the valley with an engine paint. That came out pretty good. It's coming up. I feel like maybe it would have been easier before I pulled the turbo if I would have pulled the fuel bowl and this reservoir. But coming out wasn't too bad. I did put a platform here to lay on. Anything you can do to get comfortable. And honestly, I think this tube right here, the heater hose, take that thing out. Drain some radiator fluid. Put it in a bucket, close the bucket. You could just pour it back in later. I fought this hose the whole time. There's the up pipes. They pulled right out. I didn't remove these bolts. I pulled this whole thing out as an assembly, and once I had it on the bench, these just pulled right out. So these donuts are toast. I did reuse these heat shields on the new up pipes. I bought up pipes from Riffraff. There's all the stuff I pulled out. Output flange, up pipes, pedestal, collectors. I did make a little stand for the turbo. 2x3 screwed into a 2x6, clamped to the bench, 3.5-inch wood screws with some fender washers. This was nice. There you can see with the output flange off. I just blew everything out. I cleaned the wheel a little bit. There's no play in the turbo, so I decided to reuse the turbo. It's the engine serial number. It's at the oil filter housing, which is part of the oil cooler. There is the sticker or part number that came off my wiring harness. Still there. I think that's the part number. There's my valve cover notes. 250 horsepower. That's right. This is the map sensor mount. These three studs killed me getting to the valve cover during this job. Man, oh man, it hurt. Here are the original up pipes and pedestal and Y collector that I bought. I ended up sending these back to this company I bought it from. I assumed these were made in the USA. I took a little bit of research, but I figured out that they are not made in the USA. They're made in China. So I wanted made in the USA components because getting to all this stuff was a nightmare. Didn't want to do it again. And apparently these Chinese ones here on the bellows will start to crack. This is the Garrett output flange. You can see it doesn't have the valve.